Back to our thing we have. I apologize for the abrupt stop because my batteries died. I was just about to ask Father this question, and the question that I want to ask you, Father Roman, is
15.
If you were talking about, if a person had a problem, especially in these societies, and people say, "Well, I want you to buy, I want you to buy these books. I want you to do these things." If they told you to do something very complicated, people would spend the money and do it. But when it comes to sacramental, small things that you can do, whether they're prayers that you're doing or a medal that you can wear or something, a lot of people, they're very easy but steps that you can take in terms of spiritual warfare, but a lot of people skip them. I don't understand this.
Yeah, that's the bigger question because we encourage them all the time. We distribute medals. We encourage people to fast, to pray, to go to Mass, to read the scripture. They seem to not be popular, especially among the youth. And the problem is because it's not rooted in the families. If the families start talking about it when the children are young and telling them about the importance of it and doing it with them, they grow up knowing, they grow up understanding. Where the families have started that, you see the results.
In fact, it's funny you mentioned that because I was mentioning the Madonna della Cava festival and the devotion that my own family and my two sons both follow. And they were introduced to that by my mother at a very young age. When my mother would babysit, she would be at their bedside saying their prayers with them. And they now have both taken the Meatless Wednesday vow of Madonna della Cava. And I want to get back to you, or the sacramentals, the prayers, all these aspects of spiritual warfare.
Well, we actually have a whole chapter on spiritual warfare and protecting our families, and part 3 of it is practices, prayers, and consecrations, and all the promises that come with these practices. They're tremendous. Okay, just the Rosary alone has 15 promises, and she says, "I promise to my special protection to those who pray the Rosary." I mean, how many times have we all been praying the Rosary while we're driving in the car, and we have had protection?
And I will testify to that.
We can all count those times. I mean, this is so special. She says, people say, "Well, what do I do about my children to keep them in the faith? They're going off to college. They could lose their faith. What do I do about them so that they're busy doing these video games 24/7? How do I keep their faith?" She says, every time they pray the Rosary, with this Rosary, say, "I bind all my children to the Immaculate Heart of Mary." So she asked us to do that. She said that those that have a true devotion to the Rosary shall not die without the sacraments of the Church. The sacraments are protection right there. So she's going to see to that. So it's kind of like what Father was saying earlier. You get close to Mary, you let the family invite Mary and Jesus in, and they tell us what to do. They tell us the promises to do. And then she says, all those who propagate the Holy Rosary shall be aided by me in their necessities. These are only some of the promises. Let me give you some of the other promises that have to do with the enthronement of your property, your house.
I mean, I have the CMV, the Caspar Metz with the Blessed Chalk on my own property that I just started this year.
Yeah, well, that's a little different. That's good. I don't know much about that one, but this one is the enthronement of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and it was revealed to St. Margaret Mary, okay? These promises that come once you actually enthrone your property, your business, your family, your house, I will give them the graces necessary for their state in life. Wouldn't that be nice? How to get rid of pornography in your house? Get an enthronement. Their state in life. You're in a married state, you should have no business with pornography on the internet. I will console them in all their troubles. That sounds like a pretty good antidepressant to me. I will give them peace in their families. That would be fantastic. They shall find in my heart an assured refuge during life and equally at the hour of death. We think we have spiritual warfare while we're alive. The one at death, the hour of our death, is even worse, apparently, right, Father?
Right.
They say it's even worse. So, I mean,
because that's the last chance for both sides.
Right. How could you not want to do these things? Sinners shall find in my heart the source and infinite ocean of mercy. These aren't made-up promises. These are from the words of Jesus himself to a saint. And the other ones are the promises of Mary to a saint. Why would we pretend I will give to priests the power to touch the most hardened hearts.
And
these are tremendous promises.
And what I want to ask, and I want to ask you this, Father, is we're talking about the promises of Mary, the promises of Jesus, and we've heard these from apparitions from Fatima to the Divine Mercy and so forth. But so many people, especially non-Catholics, but so many people say, I can do it on my own. I don't need this. I have enough. It's like God gives you these gifts to say, here's what you need. Let me help you. And it's almost a spiritual arrogance.
That is the spiritual arrogance, and it's the original sin. That's how it started. When the serpent, the Satan, came to Eve and asked her, did the Lord tell you you should not do this, you should not eat of that fruit? And when he lied to her, no, because if you do, you will know, you will become. People think that they can do it themselves, but it's a lie from the very beginning from Satan. Because if people could do it themselves, Jesus wouldn't have come down to die for us. The reason he came to die for us, it's because he knew we need his help. Yeah. And the reason he left us with the sacraments, and the church. The church is the first framed institution he left us so that we grow in that institution and we use the sacraments he left, because he knows without his help, without me,